Hello everyone and welcome to Hazian Education World channel. In today's video, we're going to see what are iterators in Python and how to use them. Iterators are already used by Python when we loop over iterable objects like a list, a set, a string, a dictionary, or a text file. For example, if you want to loop over a list, which is an iterable object, using a for loop like in this example, Python will call the iterator of the list object, and it is this iterator which will return the items one at a time for every loop. So, what is an iterator? What does it do? And how it is called and used? An iterator is an object which we can obtain from iterables by using their iter function. So the argument of the iter function must be an iterable. As I said before, objects like lists, sets, dictionaries, strings are iterables. They all have something in common, which is the special iter method. You can check it by using the dir function. For example, let's comment these two lines here, and let's use the dir function to check the methods of our list object. So we will use the dir function. The argument will be my list, and we will print the result. So since this is an iterable object, we will find the iter method in its scope. So here you see there is an iter method. So all iterable objects they have this iter method, and Python will use this iter method to create the iterator which will give us the items one by one. So let's create our iterator. Let's create a variable and name it my list iterator, for example, and we will use the iter function to create our iterator object. So the argument of the iter function will be our iterable, which is my list in this example. So here we are using the built-in iter function. And the built-in iter function, whenever it is called, Python will call this special iter method of the argument, which is in this case the iterable object. Okay, so let's create it and then let's print it to see the properties of the result. So our object will be my list iterator. Okay, let's clear this screen to have a clear display, and just comment this dir. We don't need it now. And here you see our object created is an iterator object. So this is how to create an iterator object from an iterable object. So here we have created our iterator object, which is my list iterator, from our iterable object, which is my list, using the iter function or iter special method of the list object. Now, since we have determined what is an iterator object, let's see what it does and how it is used. The iterator object will give us the items of the iterable object one at a time. This is its main function. How? By using the next method or the next built-in function that takes as an argument an iterator object. So now that we have our iterator object, we will have to use another function in order to get the next item of our list. using our iterators. So the argument of this method or function will be our iterator object, and we will print the result to see. We should have the first item of our iterable because we are using our iterator and the next function. Let's execute, and you see here we have the first item. If we want to have the second item, the next, and then the third, the fourth, and so on, we'll have to call again the next function. So if we call it 2 times and run it, we will have the first item and the second item. So if we want to have all the items of our iterable object, here we have 5 items, we need to call the next function 5 times. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, and 5. Run it, and we have here all our items returned one by one. So what will happen if we call again the next function when the items are exhausted? So we will call it one more time and see what will happen. So here an error was raised. It is the stop iteration error. So when the items are exhausted, a stop iteration error is raised if they call of the next function, if we call the next function manually. The for loop does the same thing. I mean that at every loop, Python will automatically call the next method of the iterator object. We can also make our own iterators, and we will see some examples in the next videos. Till then, take care of yourselves and see you soon.